Welcome to FRC Media News for Thursday, January 25th, 2018. I'm Keith Tebow. Tonight we have reaction from a local legislator on Governor Baker's $40 billion proposed state budget for next fiscal year. We have details on the elections office, on the upcoming special election in Fall River, on the construction of a new BMC Durfee High School, and we have an update on what's currently available in regards to fuel assistance funding for low-income families. But first, let's check out the news headlines of the week. We bring in Will Richmond, the digital news editor at the Herald News. Hey, Will, how are you?
I'm good, Keith. How you doing?
Good. Very, very busy week this week, especially a lot of political type items. Let's dive right into the potential new BMC Durfee High School. The city met with the Massachusetts School Building Authority this week to get the actual figure on what the state thinks the cost of a new Durfee High School will be. And it's actually in line in what the city has said all along, upwards of $263 million. So nothing new there, right?
Right. The cost is pretty accurate to what they've been forecasting for quite a while. So we've been looking for that final approved number. So that's now in hand, and we'll start moving forward with what that breaks down to, in terms of taxpayer impact and how much people expect to pay going forward.
I know that City Council President Cliff Ponte is also going to be having a special meeting again, further discussion on this issue in a couple of weeks on February 5th. And again, based on the projections by the state will pick up 62.5% of the cost, with the city responsible for 37.5%. And that's about $98.5 million that the city would have to pick up. So again, numbers that we've heard all along, but it's just now been codified, if you will, by the state. Now the city can move forward for those in favor of the project and those against the project to make their cases known to the community before voters get to the ballot box on March 6th. And we'll have more from the elections office side of things coming up a little bit later on. Speaking of money, the City Council this week heard from the administration about current revenues for the city, and it looks like, according to the mayor's office, that revenues for fiscal year 2018 are in line.
Yeah, at this point, through the halfway point, they're saying that all projections appear to be meeting expectations, and that even includes the pay-as-you-throw program, which I think was at about 44% for halfway through. Of course, they don't project pay-as-you-throw as 100% compliant, so it's about halfway where it should be for what their compliance numbers are expected to be.
And city officials believe that the trend will continue and the revenue should be pretty close to what they were expecting for the fiscal year. Any word on the expense side of things, how things are making out in terms of how the city is spending its money this year?
Well, I think they're expecting some spending to be fairly similar, though they are looking at what the impact of the flooding at Durfee last week will have. And, I think they are expecting at least $100,000 cost with that of an unexpected expense. So what that will be for spending, I'm sure they'll continue to tally those numbers going forward. But, we'll see how that plays out in the coming quarters as well.
All right, next up, the continuing saga of froed in the city of Fall River. Got a little bit of a new twist this week. Those of you who may know, Mayor Correa has been in a battle, we could say, with the Fall River Office of Economic Development in terms of moving economic development issues forward in the city. Froed still continues to work with the Fall River Redevelopment Authority. And this week, the two sides, the Redevelopment Authority and Froed, reworked its current contract to make it a little more difficult for either side to back out of that deal. Tell us what the change was.
Yeah, so there used to be a clause that would allow either side to back out with 30 days notice for really any reason. That contract was changed to now the contract can only be broken if there's a just reason for it. The change comes as two-member appointments could be filled sometime soon, and those appointments would be coming from the mayor's office. So you would figure that they'd be pro Correa in their positions and kind of take their guidance from the mayor. So That change comes now and seems to strengthen the relationship between FROED and the Redevelopment Authority, which is also one of the bigger funders of FROED through that service contract. So it looks like that it's going to be a little bit tougher to break that relationship.
Yeah, and speaking of the appointments, those appointments were before the city council, I believe, this past week, and the council sort of sent a lot of appointments back to Mayor Correa for further examination. So again, stay tuned as this saga continues. Also, just reported in the paper today, I believe, the Zoning Board of Appeals sort of didn't take a stance by a request by the mayor's office to approve changes to allow the construction of those electronic billboards that the mayor talked about last year, billboards that could raise upwards of $10 to $15 million for the city. What happened here?
Sure. The meeting was going to be held Thursday night. That would have brought the Zoning Board of Appeals attention to these billboards. No firm reason was given in the request to pull those from the agenda. The consultant hired by the city months back had indicated that he would not be able to attend the meeting, so that may have been a factor in it as well. And we are following up with the city administration as well to see if there's any other reason for this being pulled at this point. Though we are hearing that it may have to do with that it's not what the city was initially requesting may not be required, so it would not have to go before the zoning board,
Okay.
or at least would have to be filed differently for different reasons with the ZBA.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that this project is a done deal or not going to happen. We just don't know yet. But it has been taken off the agenda of the zoning board for today on Thursday, correct?
Correct.
All right, so more on that when we have it. Finally, the last topic I want to bring up to you today is the resignation of Rob Mellion as the president and CEO of the Bristol County Chamber of Commerce. Mellion been there for almost 9 years at the chamber. I know we do some programming with the chamber here at FRCmedia. Took me by surprise to see that he was leaving. Did you have any indication before his announcement that he was going to be leaving anytime soon?
No, it seemed that this was kept fairly quiet, as he heads off to the Massachusetts Package Store Association. But it was quiet, but it seemed as soon as some calls started being placed, we started hearing from a lot of people in terms of why about his leaving, and even calls being made in terms of trying to dig up some prospective prospects to replace him as well.
Any sense on how the board will look toward this process? I'm sure they'll need to start the process fairly soon.
Yeah, the indication we got from the board chairman, Brian LeCompte, was that they were going to be looking for a quality hire and not a fast hire. So that seems to be their priority at this point.
Any idea on how the organization will be run in the interim? Will there be a temporary president? Do we know?
No indication on who that might be. Their vice president, Kim Moniz, will probably pick up some of those responsibilities, and they'll operate on that sort of skeleton staff with the help of the board of directors in the short term.
All right, sounds good. All right, Will, what's coming up over the next few days?
Yeah, we talked with some local dreamers as the process and fight in Washington, D.C. over immigration and, deporting some of these, the younger immigrants out of the country has come up, and certainly makes their lives a little concerning at this point. So we've got an interview with some of them, as well as a lawyer who's helping them navigate this process.
All right, sounds good. We'll talk again next week. Have a good weekend.
All right, you too, Keith.
We'll have more FRC Media News after this.
Some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Fall River Career Center. Community Support Worker. Family Service Association, located at 4901 North Main Street, is seeking a full-time community support worker to prepare informational materials needed for enrollment and schedule meetings with the care coordinator. Job number 10137600. Cook. Stepping Stone Incorporated, located at 466 North Main Street, is looking for a full-time cook responsible for preparation and cooking of daily meals, including breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as well as preparing and cooking lunches for working clients. Job number 1013-2581. Senior Customer Service Teller. Citizens Bank, located at 333 Mariano Bishop Boulevard, is looking for a full-time senior customer service teller to provide customer banking services and process service transactions. Job number 1013-5757. Bristol Elder Services, located at 1 Father Valley Boulevard, is looking to fulfill the following full and part-time positions. Protective Services Worker, job number 1013-2301. Home Care Case Assistant, job number 1013-2298. Hertz Car Rentals, located at 1672 Pleasant Street, is looking to fulfill the following full-time positions. Transporter, job number 1013-3821. Sales and Service Associate, job number 1013-3824. For more information on these or other positions, visit FRCmedianews.org or call the Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000. Old School Hoop Academy, a year-round basketball school, will be conducting a February vacation basketball camp designed to be fun as well as instructional. The camp is for boys and girls grades 1 to 8 of all skill levels. It will be held at Bishop Conley High School on February 21st, 22nd, and 23rd from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily. The camp costs $100 for a single camper and $90 for multiple campers, and space is limited. For registration instructions and more information, go to oldschoolhoopacademy.com. To take advantage of special early bird rates, register by January 27th.
Welcome back. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker, who is seeking his second term in office later this year, this week unveiled his $40.9 billion budget proposal. While the House and Senate still have to hammer out and agree on a compromise budget for fiscal year 2019, 7th Bristol District State Representative Alan Sylvia is optimistic about Baker's financial package.
We're looking at increased assisted unrestricted local aid. We're looking at increased Chapter 70 education dollars. The governor made a commitment to increasing the commitment to service those students that are here and children that are here and families from Puerto Rico, which I think is extremely important to do because our school districts didn't anticipate this influx of individuals as a result of the hurricane. So that assistance will be there as well. The commitment to mental health, I think, is important because we've been slowly making small pathways to improving mental health, but it's one of the elephants in the room when we look at healthcare. And he is proposing an increase in the budget to support mental health services all around, with increasing beds in Bridgewater and other locations.
It sounds like a feel-good budget, but it is an election year. How realistic is it?
It's realistic because the revenue's there. And we're looking at probably a $60 million increase in proposed revenue from the cannabis rollout in July. We're looking at the Airbnb, that increase of revenue, along with the casino revenue that should produce $40 or $50 million. So all in all, the revenue flow, I suspect, based on what I hear, I sit on revenue, I also sit on Ways and Means, so I get that balance of what's coming in and what's going out. And I suspect that we'll be able to do that as long as there's not a crisis.
Last week, the Fall River City Council scheduled a special election for March 6th for voters to decide whether they want to override Proposition 2.5 to build a new BMC Durfee High School. The next steps now fall with the Fall River Board of Elections. Board Chairperson Elizabeth Camara says, along with the election planning, her office is working on getting out the annual city census.
Well, I don't like to use the word Russian because then that puts pressure on us. So, but we do have less time than normal to get it done, and we're in the middle of doing our census too. So we're just doing the best we can. We will get it ready, and I've just got everything laid out step by step what we need to do. So we just follow our lists, and we should be fine.
How many ballots and how much are they costing?
50,000 ballots were ordered, and it was 4,900, close to 5,000.
Is that what you were expecting?
Yes, yeah, that's what we had last time. So,
And you go by the number of registered voters.
well, you have to have a ballot for every voter you have in the city. We do have somewhere between 47,000, 48,000. So you always allow two for voters making mistakes at the polls. They're allowed up to 3 ballots. We know we're not going to have 100% go to the polls, but we hope we do have a good turnout.
We'll have more FRC Media News after this.
Schools will be closed in Fall River February 19th through the 23rd for winter vacation. Here are some community activities that children can enjoy that week. The Fall River Public Library is hosting several special events at its main branch at 104 North Main Street. On Tuesday, February 20th, the library hosts a Snowy Owl craft and story time from 1 to 2 p.m. Children ages 3 and up are invited to hear the story Owl Babies and make their very own snowy owl using feathers and paper tubes. On Wednesday, February 21st, Animal Instincts Aquarium and Pet Shop will present a Wild Winter live animal show. Meet furry, feathery, and scaly pets and learn how they survive during the winter. The show will take place from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. and is recommended for children ages 4 and up. On Thursday, February 22nd, children ages 6 and up can make a snowflake charm bracelet with beads and charms and watch a short animated film based on the book Brave Irene by William Steig. This event will be held from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. On Friday, February 23rd, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., children are invited to play Storybook Bingo, a game of bingo with a storybook character twist. Books and other prizes will be awarded. Admission to the library events is free. For more information, go to fallriverlibrary.org. Incorporated is offering 2 evening events during school vacation, a family bowling night and a family movie night. On Tuesday, February 20th, families with a DDS-eligible member can enjoy a light dinner and bowling at AMF Lanes in Somerset, starting at 5 o'clock p.m. On Thursday, February 22nd, DDS-eligible adults 18 years and older and their families are invited for pizza, popcorn, and a screening of the Lego Ninjago movie. This event takes place from 5 to 7 p.m. at 4 South Main Street in Fall River. Space is limited at both People Incorporated events, and attendees must RSVP by February 13th. Call 774-488-5332. On Saturday, February 24th, Battleship Cove presents You Sunk My Battleship, a nautical and WW2 gaming day. Watch professional and hobby gamers play popular nautical and WW2 games, or compete yourself in board game tournaments of Battleship and Risk. Video game stations will be set up for free play. This event will take place from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at 5 Water Street in Fall River. For more information, call 508-678-1100.
Today we have Sushi. Sushi is an 8 to 10 year old puggle. That's a pug and a beagle mixed. A little bit of an older dude, but he's still got some spunk in him. Not the biggest as far as toy playing, that sort of thing. Come here, buddy. But he certainly can get excited. He enjoys a good run, a good walk, all that sort of thing. You know, given his personality and his age, probably be a better idea for him to be in a, not necessarily a quieter house, but a little bit of a calmer house. He does deal with children just fine, so it would be okay as long as they're well behaved. But yeah, if you wanted to come down and meet Mr. Sushi here, I'm sure he would love to meet you. So you come on down to Forever Paws Animal Shelter. We're located at 300 Linwood Street, Fall River, Massachusetts.
All right, so today on Hot Dogs and Cool Cats, we actually have two ferrets. They are brother and sister. This handsome gentleman is Bradley, and this beautiful lady is Vera. They are approximately 3 years old. They are owner surrenders, but they were handled quite often. These guys hopefully will go in a pair. They are bonded. They've been together their entire lives. They are extremely active. They love exploring. They find any crack and crevice they can. So if you do plan on adopting a ferret and letting them loose, make sure every type of hole or any under the couch or anything like that is covered up, because they will find every single crevice they can. If you are interested in our ferrets, feel free to come on down and visit us. We're open every day 11 to 4, besides for Wednesdays and major holidays. So come visit us.
Fuel assistance applications are still being accepted through the Greater Fall River Anti-Poverty Agency, Citizens for Citizens. Fuel Assistance Director Garth Patterson says applications are still being accepted despite some budgetary restraints.
So our budget is cut from last year, statewide. I think Massachusetts received some in the vicinity of $120 million, $121 million, and we've only received 9% of our funding due to the CR, the continuing resolution. So we're unsure about when we'll receive the rest of that money, if there'll be a cut to that money when they do a budget until the end of the year. So with all the people that we have that are running out of, like oil, and other deliverables, we're urging the state legislature to give us some supplemental funding, as they have in the past. In the 5 years I've been here, they have done it twice, which has been wonderful. Our state legislators and our federal legislators in our area, we can't say enough. They're always so supportive, but we're really pushing for a supplemental budget, supplemental funding for the program. We've heard anything in the region from $20 to $25 million. That would be incredibly helpful. When you're talking about dollars like that, it seems like a lot of money, but really you're talking about maybe, $300 added to deliverable clients, one delivery, but that delivery can be the difference between, a family, surviving the winter or something very bad happening.
That'll do it for this edition of FRC Media News. You can watch FRC Media News Thursdays and Fridays at 6 p.m. and online at frcmedianews.org. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Thursday.